Hello everyone, welcome to the channel, Learn a Trade. Today I'm at a location working on a for real blender. This blender, as you can see, the screen is blank. The lower screen is blank because it's tripping the breaker. It's tripping a 20 amp breaker, so right now I'm waiting for tech support to give me a call because this is a new unit and they would like to see what my test results were. So I'm waiting on them to call, but while I'm waiting I figured I'd go over this a little bit, but some of the steps that I've taken already. Hopefully you could see it. It's a little dark in there, but I wanted to show you the HVCB board, the high volt circuit board, which is this one right here. And you can see there's a fuse right there. I tested that fuse and that fuse is good. There's another fuse right up here and I tested that fuse as well and that tested good. The thing that I'm suspecting is when it does trip the breaker, this is the pump motor cable, and I tested my continuity on that cable from the black to the red lines there, and I got 6.3 ohms. But on this is the mix motor cable right here. I've tested from the black to red on that cable and I got 2.9 ohms. So I let them know what I got from my test results, and I'm gonna attempt to, what I did was I disconnected this mix motor because it seems to short out after the water pump initiates. So I'm gonna see if I can start it up and then let it go through again and see if it goes through. It'll probably come up with a water pump error because I have it disconnected, but I just want to see if it's going to at least go into the initialization mode without tripping the breaker. So we'll see here. See, what I'm looking for is since I have that water pump disconnected, I'm thinking that it'll attempt to go into initialize mode, but then it'll recognize that the water pump is not connected, and then it should go into an error without tripping the breaker. So let's just give it a moment and then we'll see what it does. Well, I got word back from For Real Tech Support. See if I can let you see it. See right there, it says I suggest unplugging the pump motor and try restarting the blender and let me know what happens. Most probably this is happening because the wiring. So that's what I already did, and right here, as you can see, it went through initialization mode and it didn't trip that breaker. So I'm pretty sure that there's going to be an issue with that pump motor, and in that case, I've gone over this before. Okay, this is that HVCB board. Okay, and if you have a bad motor, okay, it's best to go ahead and replace the HVCB board and the motor itself. So we'll have to For real, we'll have to send out a board and a new pump motor, and then replace those at the same time, because if you don't, you're going to wind up going back and forth to the site, because if I just change that motor, then it's still not going to work, and that board could possibly damage the new motor. If I try to change just the board, then that board can get that new board can get damaged because of the motor. So it's best to change the motor and the board. And it's the same for the mix motor too. If you have a bad mix motor, it's best to change them both at the same time. So give me a second. I'm gonna let this go ahead and go through, because it seems like For Real is linked in to this machine right now, so they're probably looking through all of the error codes that have came up in the past. But for right now, I'm gonna go ahead and see what they want to do, because I'm pretty sure they're gonna want to replace the board and the motor. Yep, and right now you can see the error code. That's error code EX8C. Okay. So that's that error code that came up. I told For Real that once I got it to come up, I would take a picture. So I'm going to take a picture of the error code and send it over to them. And that's we'll see from there. More than likely this is going to be some type of a motor error and or a board error, and then they'll have to send out the parts, and then I'll come back and replace it. Okay, so now I had disconnected the pump motor from the terminal, and I did get the error code 8C for the pump motor error. So now I shut the blender off, and then I reconnected my pump motor, and I disconnected my mixing motor, which is right here. I just tucked it behind there so it could be out the way. So now I'm going to restart it and then see if it shorts out. More than likely, if there is an issue with this pump motor, it's going to probably trip the breaker once I restart it. So give me a second. So now I only have the mix motor connected. I don't have the, I'm sorry, that's wrong. I have the pump motor connected and I have the mix motor disconnected. This is just a way to kind of troubleshoot and see what's going on. And then after this, I will probably take some more continuity readings on that pump motor, because that's the one that I'm suspecting is bad, but it could also be the mix motor too. So let's just give it a second and see what it does.
Maybe it's time for a new machine, buddy.
Okay, so far it hasn't tripped the breaker or anything, but I'm going to give it a little bit because it did take it a few minutes to go through its initializing mode, and then it tripped the breaker right after that. So I'm going to see what happens once it finishes this. Can hear that pump motor going. There it goes. There it goes. You just heard it. It just clicked off. It just tripped the breaker just now. So that's showing me that that pump motor has an issue, okay, and the board. So I'm gonna let tech support know what was going on, because this is a warranty job. So I'm gonna let them know, and then we'll see what parts they're gonna send out, and I'll be back to replace them. More than likely it'll be a pump motor and a new board. So I'll let you know in a few. Okay, so like I said, I'm communicating with tech support for real via text. So they have a text number, and you can communicate with them through text, and then they can kind of walk you through any tests they want you to run and stuff like that. But this technician that I'm talking to now, gonna let you see the message. It says, I asked him, I told him that the unit had tripped the breaker once I plugged the pump motor back in. And then I said that this usually is they'll probably need a pump motor and a HVCB board replaced. And then he says only the pump motor, but still I will check with the senior tech if we need to send the HVCB board. But he must be fairly new, because usually it's pretty common to just go ahead and replace both at the same time, like I was saying before. So I'm gonna go ahead and let him check that out, because they're gonna have to confirm sending out the parts and stuff. So I'm gonna give them time to do that. But I did tell them that, you know, usually I do replace both at the same time, just to give them a heads up, because that's how you can run into further issues. If they only replace one at a time, you're going to end up having further issues either with the board or with the motor. So it's best to replace both of them at the same time. If it's up to me, I never feel comfortable replacing one at a time if I have a bad mixed motor or a bad pump motor, because I've run into issues over and over the years where if you replace one and don't replace the other, you're gonna end up having to run back to a call to reorder both of those components. So you're better off replacing both of them at the same time. And I always tell my customers this, even though, you know, if it's under warranty, a lot of them are fine with it. But if it's something that they're going to have to pay out of pocket for, they're a little more wary of it. They would rather just replace the one component instead of having to replace a board and a motor. But that's the way it goes with these. So we'll see what they come back with, but more than likely they're going to go ahead and replace both of them at the same time, but we'll see. So right now, just to let you know, I'm still working with For Real tech support on this blender. I'm gonna have to pull the unit off of the counter. I'm gonna have to I don't have my lift table with me, but I'm gonna try to improvise here, and then just to get access to the back, I have to get access to the back panel. because what I'm going to do is just to confirm that it's the motor and not the pump for that pump motor shorten, because it could have a bad Procon pump that's stuck and it's creating a high draw, a high amp draw, and then that's tripping the breaker. So it could just be that, but you have to get access to the rear panel to get access to that pump. So that's what I'm going to work on doing now, because as you can see, it's a little crowded here. I don't really have room to spin this around. Most times I do have my lift table, but unfortunately today I don't, so I'm going to improvise and probably put it up on some crates and then spin it so that I could get access to the rear panel and that pump. Okay, so I was able to get this spun around. I didn't have to pull it out too far. I just pretty much I disconnected my drain line. Okay, my water line is shut off. This is a shut off for it. That's shut off right now, and luckily I had enough slack in the water line and the power cord right here that I was able to take out that drain line, because you don't want to spin that around with the drain line in it, because you don't know how usually these are kind of short lines, so you don't want to pull it out of an area that you can't get back into. And sometimes these counters are not set up for you to get right into them. So you can see like the drain line is in the back there, and it looks like it's going straight down, so it probably wouldn't have been too bad. But I usually like to leave those drain lines in the drain where they're at, so that you're not running into any issues after you're done. So now I got this spun around. I'm gonna go ahead and take off the back panel and then remove that pump so that I can separate the pump from the motor, and then see if I have any issues with the pump being stuck. Okay, so I have the back panel off. I'm removing this other lower panel, so just to give me good access to the pump and the motor right down here. And then, as you can see right here, I disconnect the water inlet from the flow valve. I disconnect that just to give me enough room to get this out. I'll be able to undo this side screw right here, and then I will be able to slide this pump motor assembly out enough to give me access to the pump. Okay, so I got the pump disconnected from the motor. The motor shaft is turning freely, but the pump shaft, it's turning, but it's still a little tight, and I don't know if you can hear it, but each time I make a rotation, you'll hear it. It'll click. It's like a clicking sound, or at least I can feel it. Right there. When I go the opposite direction, going clockwise, it seems to get caught right there. It seems to get caught on something internally. So that could be the issue. I mean, I've seen them before where this shaft would not turn at all. This is turning, but I do feel like a catch within it. So we'll see what tech support wants to do. they may want to replace this pump and the motor, well, the pump as well. So we'll see from there. Let me reach out to them and let them know what I found. Okay, I got the Procon pump reattached to the motor. Okay, just in case, for those who aren't aware, this is the Procon pump and this is the motor for the Procon pump. Okay, so, and this pumps takes water in and pumps water through the system for rinsing and stuff like that, and for the production of the product. To melt that product, it sends hot water up through the system to melt the frozen product, and then it churns it into a milkshake, basically. But right now I got the Procon pump back together. Just to go over it a little bit, this clamp right here, you want to be sure that that clamp is over the edge of your Procon pump and your motor. Okay, so about that, hit the wrong screen here. There we go. A little technical difficulties there, but yeah, you want to be sure that you have that clamp on securely, covering both of the Procon pump and the motor slots. Okay, so just to make that clear. And then this originally had 3 wire ties on it holding it in. I just secured it with 1 wire tie for now, because I'm more than likely I'm going to be coming back to replace this whole assembly and the board itself. I know it seems it probably seems like a little extra work, seeing as the pump motor is indicating that it has a short of some type, or it's tripping the breaker. So, you know, I know, at least that's what I thought when they asked me to separate the motor and the pump to see which one was, if any of those were bad. You know, I wondered why, you know, why not just send out the whole assembly, right? But on their end, I'm sure they don't want to replace the whole assembly if they can just replace the Procon pump, or if you could just replace the motor and then the board, you know, because that's going to help you to know for sure if you're going to need to replace the board. Because if it was just this Procon pump, if this Procon pump was just stuck, or this motor was just stuck, then it would, you know, they would feel better with just having me replace the motor. But without these really weren't stuck. I mean, I did feel a little tension on the Procon pump side, but in my opinion, I would still go ahead and replace the full motor assembly and the board assembly. So I'm gonna wait to see, you know, what they decide to do on this warranty job. So I'll let you know. Right now I'm just going through reassembling the unit while I wait on for Realtek support to get back to me. I went ahead and put the lower back panel on. I have the Procon pump assembly pump motor back in place. I have the inlet fitting secured into the flow valve right there. And then I'm just going to go ahead and put the back panel back on, turn my water back on, and then run my drain line up into the drain port. Yes, I'm still standing by for tech support to let me know what parts they decided to send out, but I just wanted to show you that this drain line, where this drain line is connecting at, that's the connecting to the drain port right there, and you see the screw clamp. You want to get that clamp, that screw clamp, nice and tight on there, and then this is the new style. This is the new style drain line for the for real. So these fit really good because they have a little boot on them that secures it really good to the drain port. So I'm still standing by. Once I get some feedback from tech support on what they want to do, then I'll let you know. Okay, I did hear back from For Real tech support on what they decided to do with this blender that is tripping the breaker. They have decided to go ahead and replace the pump motor assembly, and they want me to also come back and replace the mix motor. So I'm going to be replacing the mix motor assembly and the pump motor assembly, and I'm going to also be replacing this HVCB board, the high volt circuit board. So for right now, that's all I have. At least you were able to see some of the troubleshooting techniques on a blender that is tripping the breaker, and you also got to see some of the communications between myself and tech support. And again, you know, take advantage of the tech support lines that are provided down in the description, and you know, they're a big help, because a lot of times on some of these warranty jobs you have to communicate with tech support so that they can verify your diagnosis. And that's all I have for right now. Thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna go ahead and button this up, and I'm gonna leave it shut down for now until the parts arrive, and then I'll come back and replace those parts. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Stay well.